My people, welcome back to the channel. Welcome. It's Patala FC. We are within. Blessed Tuesday, guys. Any moment now, shall we receive the here we go for Jarrell Hato? We need it. We need the 19-year-old centre back slash left back to arrive at Cobham, to arrive at Stamford Bridge. And it's looking positive. I don't think anything will fall through. No one's trying to hijack. Ajax have inflated the price to some extent, but not too much, not to sway us away as Chelsea. So Hato should be on his way. Might have to step back in the studio, give my thoughts on Hato a bit later. But for now, as we await the double Dutch duo, because also Xavi Simons, it's looking like we'll also get that deal over the line, maybe a bit later in the week. Today, Alejandro Garnacho. And pause, breathe. I know as Chelsea fans, we're not excited or thrilled by the idea of Garnacho coming to Chelsea. But we have to break it down. We have to break down the facets that make us so persistent for this player. You can't just look at his age. And when you look at the recent business Chelsea are doing, have done, we look to buy young, below 24 years old. That's the average, if anything. So Garnacho, yes, he fits that bracket. But I think there are other elements, that we have to consider. So, yes, we'll mention the age because it's important. He's a 21-year-old forward, mostly a left winger, can also operate a bit in the central attacking midfield areas. Not that we need him for that. We need him for the left wing if he is to come to Chelsea. So, age, first point. Second point, possible sell on value of sorts. Garnacho's 21, and in my knowledge, South Americans don't stay for too long. South Americans don't have that loyalty thing in football. Maybe Lionel Messi, but Garnacho looks up to Ronaldo. So
We want an assurance from you. We have no problem.
we could even sell him for more than we buy him. Initially, Man United were quoting 70 million in this current window, but I believe they've realized ain't nobody gonna pay that. And I think it's dropped to about 50 million. So with good negotiation and add-ons, we could get Garnacho between 55 and 60 million if we persist to get this player. So we'll see how that goes. Few other points. Now let's go to more football related points. I would give Garnacho one trait that is not really mentioned in football, and that's audacity. And the audacity to shoot. In any moment, Garnacho tries to find the space and he tries to put the ball in the back of the net. If you look at the signings from this window, Joao Pedro, Liam Delap, possibly Xavi Simons, and even Jamie Gittins, most of these players don't mind shooting from distance. If you look at last season, not many Chelsea players even took it on from outside the box. I know Cucurella scored one goal against Leicester from outside the 18. Reece James scored one in the Conference League. We got a few free kicks here and there. But overall, we don't really shoot from distance. But every acquisition in the forward line in this window doesn't mind shooting from distance. So it might be something that Enzo Maresca has emphasized to the recruitment team, to the technical directors, that we have to have players that have that audacity to just shoot. And Garnacho, oh, I'll tell you one thing. Conversion rate is one chat. I won't say he's clinical, but he will take on the shots. And for a 21-year-old, that confidence, it's not something you can teach. It's actually something that it comes naturally. Do you have the confidence to keep trying even if you don't convert on every occasion? And he's 21, guys, so he will get better. Let's not use the frustration of Jackson's development and parallel that frustration to Alejandro Garnacho. If he comes to Chelsea in this young setup, he could develop more rapidly. Man United, it's been turbulent. Eric Ten Hag, Ruben Amorim comes about, even before Ten Hag, he did join Man United early, as a youngster, 2020, I believe. He was in the youth setup in 2020 up to 2022. Then he went into the senior setup. So 3 years, 2 full seasons. I think he's played just above 90 games. That's good experience as well. We can't fight that. He's been on the pitch. He understands the football pitch now. So 21 years old at that, and that's similar to a Xavi Simons sort of, if we're convincing ourselves of a player being young but having experience. Another point, work rate. I wouldn't say Garnacho works super hard. if I'm being honest. But in a Maresca system, I see him working a bit harder, tracking back more than he did in Man United. Maresca does require his wingers to do this. We saw Pedro Neto in the Club World Cup going all the way back and almost being a left back. Then we form a back five, depending on the team we're playing. So I believe Ganacho would have to accept that element and change that, become more of a hard worker of sorts in our system. But then there's the directness, the attacking element. That's what Maresca wants in wingers. Be direct. So Ganacho being keen to get past the man or place the ball in space so he can take a shot, possibly cut the ball back for a man in space. Those are traits Maresca loves. And you can't fight that. Similar to what Sancho was doing, if anything, just that Sancho wasn't shooting as regularly as we would have liked, if we're being honest. When he did shoot, he converted quite often. The shot against Tottenham, the one against, is it Djurgården? Okay, Djurgården was a funny one. The one against either Ipswich or Fulham, great shots by Sancho. If Garnacho becomes a bit more clinical at Chelsea, if he joins, we might actually eat our words as Chelsea fans. We might regret being so depressed by this reality of him joining us. So know where to find space. I wouldn't say he's always in the prime position, but in Maresca's system, and we have to emphasize Maresca's system, I think Garnacho does develop into a better winger. He'll know where to be to receive the ball, when to track back, when to get back into attacking positions, help the team out, be an outlet, and he has pace for days, guys. Garnacho is a pacey player, and I think he just needs to improve dribbling as well, just a tad bit. He's a South American. South Americans should have that flair. You get me? I think he'll get there. He will improve in those facets, in those sections or sectors of his game. But yeah, guys, this is me trying my best not to convince us that we need Garnacho, but maybe to make us calm down because it looks like we are aggressive. We do actually want this player to join Chelsea. And for these points that we've mentioned, I think it sort of makes sense, unfortunately. You get me? Hopefully, we'll be back later for Here We Go news. But yeah, I feel a bit better now about the Ganacho prospect. I think Ganacho can arrive. Backup for Gittins, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe he's a right wing in Maresca's system. We shall see. Blessings, my people.